It's a very cluttered bench tonight because I've been experimenting. And this was the original Christmas light controller, a very cheap and nasty set of Chinese lights. This is the new circuit board, the new power supply. I won't poke it because it's live, and I've been experimenting with component values because if I just turn the light off and follow the trail of blue LEDs, I'm trying to match the colour of the blue to the rest of the display just to create a splash of light over the back of it, because I quite fancy putting a fairly big garden effect out this year. Something I've not really done before, but I can. And I've got a trellis in the garden, just mounted in the wall, and I quite fancy putting these stars onto it with a surround of the orange LED, and then just filling the middle with a blanket of the blue LED just to fill it in and give it that sort of deep iridescent blue effect. And so far it looks like it's going to work quite well. The blue LEDs, I could run the current way down to fractions of a milliamp and they still look pretty good, but at the moment that's a 100 nanofarad capacitor, which probably is just a few milliamps they're running at, but that's all that's needed just to actually create that blue haze effect. So yeah, so if it's dry tomorrow I may start putting this out and see how it looks. I want to see how well the cheapy Christmas light, the ones that are not waterproof from China, actually last outdoors, to see if they corrode and start blowing up and stuff like that. But time will tell. So moving on with the project, I've got a black junction box just because it's going to blend in better, it's not going to stick out so much. And I've drilled it and fitted 6 cable glands. One of them is going to be for the mains in, 3 of them are going to be for the stars, if I use 3 stars. One of them is going to be for the border, and one of them is going to be for the blue LED lights. I've also fudged up a tiny little power supply that will go inside, and it's I was going to use this one, but I decided to go with this, but I might end up going back for the other one. Because this, it seemed like a good idea at the time, but I'm kind of having second thoughts now. It's also passing a bit more current than I originally intended through the LEDs, which, I mean, it's not much, it's 10 milliamps. Oh no, it's 15 milliamps. But divided down, that works out 4 milliamps per string, so it's not really that dramatic, but it's still possibly going to be a bit too bright. But I do have the option, I could actually put more resistors in line as an inline connector here. I have to keep in mind this little connector here is operating at around about 240 volts DC, so quite nippy. I also stuck a little LED inside my resistive dropper power supply. I've used resistors in this just as an alternative to capacitor, just because it's not a terribly high current application and it makes it super simple. So the next thing tomorrow, is, if the weather's good, is to start wrapping this round outside and see if it looks as good as I originally hoped it to. So I'll be connecting inside using these sort of spring-loaded Wago terminals, just because it's a convenient way of combining lots of cables together. And there's no earth in this because it is just double insulated materials and a wooden frame. These, though, are an unknown variable, the Chinese LEDs, the generic uninsulated, well, they claim they're waterproof, but they're not. The water will go down. I just want to see how they behave. I want to see what fails first and if they corrode quickly, just to see out of interest what happens. So that should be quite interesting. So next bit of the project is to start putting the lights on the frame tomorrow, if it's good.